Hello, everybody. Welcome to the INDY-Pendent podcast, where we gradually talk about angry indie wrestling and complain.
Because we're so angry, because on the internet, everyone is angry all the time.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
amazing.
the people with the glasses and the multicolored hair. They're very angry all the time, and that's why they're ruining Star Wars. But that's for a different podcast.
Oh, that's the Why Star Wars Sucks Now podcast.
I know. Well, no, they have lots of those right here on Anchor. So if you want to hear a Boy Does Star Wars Suck podcast, you came to the right place.
This is not part of the segments we lined up for, but this is actually a pretty cool announcement. We got accepted by Apple, and we are now on the podcast app on Apple. So
how about that? Us and 35,000 other podcasts, some of them about growing weed using water pipes in your house. So I guess we're in good company.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we did it. We this is our biggest accomplishment yet, y'all.
Wow. You know, I would like to thank, who would I like to thank? I'd like to thank none of my patrons, because I don't think any of them know about this podcast. This is brought to you by the Witness Protection Network.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, we belong to the network that makes sure no one ever finds out about this program, and that's a great thing.
Oh, so I mean, everybody on stream seems to, enjoy it. I mean,
well, yeah, and I appreciate those people. I really do. I don't trust Twitchers, but that's another story for another day.
Oh, I don't trust Twitchers either, but we got somebody listening to this bullshit, so.
Well, that's nice, and I hope that they're nice people this time.
Yeah, I mean.
So hello to all those people. I can't see your comments, so please don't talk to me directly. I can't see.
Yeah, they're just yelling stickler in the comment section. See, I got you over.
Oh well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. If everything I could be over for something is being a stickler. Because it's a rarity in professional wrestling, is it not, Mr. Martyr?
I mean, it is. It very is. And wow, you used my gimmick last name. Nice.
I know. Well, that's what we got to do around here, because we're going to get you over in a real sense, because I'm too old to wrestle. So we got to do something for you, kid. And besides, you come from Florida, the greatest wrestling territory in the history of Florida.
Yup, right where there's a nobody show every single day that no one goes to, or retarded people attend.
Hey! Now, let's not say bad things about. See, that's what the '90s did. It screwed up whether or not you mean what you say when you say retarded.
I mean, I'm meaning like legitimately, like I'm not to make fun of them. I'm just
okay. So you mean people with some sort of mental incapability?
Yes.
Or one of those. Oh yes. Well, don't discount those people, because, and this is also going to sound very insensitive, but they're such nice people.
I mean, they are. I mean, okay, we are not on the subject.
Unfortunately, it might be that they don't know that it's fixed, but that's another story.
That's it. Yeah. All right. So. I don't know.
We can stop insulting the paying customers.
Yeah, Jesus. I wasted 3 out of my. We're going to start off with just a bit of talking about Extreme Rules, and if you did not see Extreme Rules, yell, God bless you, because this show.
Tell me about this show, because
show.
I didn't have the time to watch it. I was very caught up with other things yesterday. And anybody I talked to today about Extreme Rules, I said, how was it? They said, they described their beer, and that's about as much as I got from it.
I mean, okay, so this show, man, this show officially has a special place in my heart, because, I was legitimately excited for the show. And we start off hot with the B team versus Matt and Bray Wyatt for the tag titles on the pre-show, making the tag titles look like crap. Yeah, B team was undefeated, which I'm pretty happy about. So B team.
God damn. Which tag titles were these again? I'm sorry.
Raw. I'm pretty sure
These were the Raw tag titles. These were the penny titles, not the nickel titles.
Yeah, not the nickel title. Well, they don't even have the nickel titles anymore. They have the blue ones, the silver titles. They're both silver.
Oh, they both silver now? Oh,
yeah,
because maybe I made that joke and they heard me. That's what it was.
And no, it was like, he caught on. We got to...
Oh, man. Is Stephanie McMahon listening to this program? Because it seems like anytime anyone says anything negative about anything she's involved in, shit's got to change, and it's got to be just to piss those people off.
Shout out to Stephanie. Shout
out to Stephanie. Stephanie, we love you the same way we love Sable, which is not at all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Go patron to Yelp because he needs money.
Yeah, please. I would appreciate it very much. Also, want to say hi to Triple H because anybody who's nice to Triple H gets fucking a massive push. So maybe it'll work for me.
Next thing you know, you're writing for Raw.
I'm pretty sure I'm doing it right now.
Basically, if she's listening in. So this show.
So what happened? So after we spent the pre-show. Was that the only match on the pre-show?
No, there was a couple others, but I don't care about those matches. I didn't watch them.
Okay, so the sole intention of this pre-show for Extreme Rules was to bury the Raw Tag Team Championship.
Yes, and so I'm not gonna put the matches in complete order because I don't remember the order. But so I'm just gonna So I'm just gonna say, we'll start off with Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor.
Holy shit! Do they still work there?
Yes.
That's amazing. Please go on.
Okay, so, jeez, that's great. That's holy shit. Does he still work there? That's a new quote. Basically, so we got Finn Balor, right? A couple, I'll say 4 months ago, when Baron Corbin still had his hair.
If that's what you want to call hair, all right.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Arn Anderson's hair too?
Oh, jeez. I mean, at least his is not as noticeable. But basically, so a couple months ago, Baron Corbin had this like small mini rivalry with Finn, right? And Finn just buried the shit out of Corbin. He just buried him. It was bad. And now we start off hot with heat. We don't even go into Finn does not go into any offense at the start of the match. None. He doesn't get himself over. He just gets beaten on by Baron Corbin. And Corbin just beats the shit out of him the entire match. I'll give you instead of 5 moves of doom, we got 3 from Finn. We got a forearm. I'm pretty sure we got like a running back elbow. And then we got a sling blade, and guess what the finish is, man? This finish was absolutely insane. Are you ready?
Okay, I am.
Small package. Small package. He didn't hit the coup de grace. Didn't hit anything. It was just
Well, let's. I think we're starting to split hairs here because they have been destroying this kid for a few years now. So, I mean, you just reminded me that he still works there because I can remember this kid in New Japan probably about 5 years ago, a vicious heel that looks like that. And somehow I bought it. And now, what are they doing with him? Is it like when he comes on, it's like the homo show?
Yeah.
Is that what the deal is?
This time he's Chris Jericho, Smoky Mountain. Except this time he doesn't say anything. He's mute. So basically,
as far as I could tell, he's always been kind of mute. I mean, because when they brought him in, he was like the boogeyman, but white.
Basically. Okay, so he comes out, his music, and he just smiles. And while he does like his whole entrance, that's really it. I mean,
does he promo? Because I don't think I've ever heard.
I haven't heard a promo from him in like 6 months. It's been that long.
Is he still wearing the purple?
Is he still wearing the purple?
Yes. Is he still wearing the purple outfit?
No.
No. Okay.
But he still has the Finn Balor's for everybody thing, the homo show.
Is that what the case is? Because somebody told me that. I was like, okay, well, that's what you're gonna do after.
I mean,
what does
there's
that
nothing.
do with your wrestling match?
I mean, yeah. It's just like, look, I don't have anything against gay people. Yeah, like I have a bunch of friends that are unfortunately gay, but basically,
unfortunately, I think we got another podcast for later on.
Welcome to the Ben Shapiro podcast.
Oh, hey now. Hey, we're better than that. You know how I know that? Because I'm on this show.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, that match was garbage, and we go. I'm probably gonna botch all of these matches.
I'm sorry. Who scored pinfall?
Mr. Finn.
So Finn Balor scored. See, I've already forgot. You just told me. That's how fucking memorable this kid's run has been.
Okay, so we have that match. Man, I'm really forgetting this entire card.
You're doing this on purpose. I know that. I would want to forget it too.
No. I'm serious. I don't remember. Okay, yeah, wait. Okay, so we got the oh, Jesus Christ. We got the Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. That dumpster match. All right. So basically,
wait. They're marching that out again.
Huh? Yeah. They're
doing this again. Okay.
Yes, and the entire. I don't honestly. Alexa got her retained. I'm pretty sure, but basically, Ronda comes out. Right? She's like, basically, for some reason, I know I'm stuttering a lot. I'm really tired. For some reason, Nia comes out with Natalya that is literally has nothing to do with anything. She's just out there to be out there. And Alexa comes out with Mickie James, right? And so we have two managers on each side.
There's a record amount of old bitches right now. I just want to point that out.
And basically, eventually, I think Mickie James starts to beat the crap out of Natalya for no reason. And, Ronda is actually in the crowd because she had been suspended by general manager Kurt Angle. And, Ronda comes out. She's extra hyper, extra aggressive, for real. And just starts, basically shooting on Mickie James because she's super hyper about her, part in the role. And Mickie James, oh man, she had a kendo stick in her hand, and man, that was a receipt. That's the thing that made that match great. That Mickie James legitimately got pissed off and just bam right over the back of Ronda. That was great. Just whipping the crap out of her and breaks the kendo. It's pretty. I was like, damn. All right, showing her the business. All right.
How about that?
And then bullshit finish. And yeah, okay. So we have the next match followed up with another women's match. Carmella versus Asuka, right?
Okay.
And Ellsworth for some reason is in a shark cage.
I heard about that, and I said, "Fuck, Ellsworth still works there?"
Yeah, no. He got fired, right? And then they brought him back.
And then they brought him back. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean,
no reason. But
what are they paying this kid? Because can't they buy him a jaw? Is some of the best TV people on planet Earth. We can't get James Ellsworth a jaw.
Well, the thing is, he would lose his job if they did that, though.
That's
the only thing that makes him relevant.
That's the thing, though. Is like he looks like he has no teeth.
He does, unfortunately.
And then he opens his mouth and he has teeth, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So, all right. So you would think with the shark cage, they would have that shark cage pretty high up, but you couldn't do a springboard. That's how close he was to the ring. Like
really?
The shark cage was like maybe 10 feet at most. like maybe I'll even stretch it to 15. No, not 15. No, it was definitely like 10 feet. And basically, um, Jesus, this just makes me hurt my eyes every time I watch it. But Ellsworth, magically pulls out a key out of nowhere, right? Pulls out the key, opens the door. They start lowering the shark cage, and this idiot somehow finds a way to get his I guess piece of cloth, like his pants, stuck to the shark cage somehow. I have no idea, but I know a wire got stuck in his pants, and he was upside down. And I know that was a botch. And I was just like, what in the blue hell is this? Like, why? I found myself looking at this screen and just being like, why? Why am I watching this?
Well, I mean, how does that really separate you from a lot of WWE programming?
And guess what the finish was? Just I want you to guess. What the?
Okay, sunset flip.
No, not even close. So, Asuka, I guess, starts beating the shit out of Ellsworth. Carmella comes out of nowhere, rams her into the shark cage. Finish. That was the finish.
Rams her into a cage. Finish.
And yes, that was the finish.
Was it like a ragdoll pin or
no? Like she just hit the cage, bumped, 1, 2, 3, and she didn't connect with the cage at all. By the way.
Well, maybe I'm talking out of school, but you know what? I'm not even going to pretend like there was really an angle there. I'm just going to assume that this was all brand new as of Sunday.
Sure.
Good grief. Okay, so there's that. Following that, Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Jeff Hardy in 6 seconds.
That was great. I'm going to be honest. That was great.
Well, lay it on me. How'd that one go? Because I can't imagine those two fucking it up, especially in 6 seconds.
No, start of the match. Well, not even, the bell hasn't rung. Low blow. To Jeff Hardy. Jeff standing there in the corner, screaming like a baby. Like, my nuts. And
naturally.
Referee is like, I could call this match off. Of course, the babyface Jeff Hardy says, no, I want to keep fighting on. Bell rings. Kinshasa. 1, 2, 3. Done. That's the match. 6
well, it's Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
I guess,
but that match was normal. I don't know if you knew, but all of the Extreme Rules, I'm putting, the quotation things, all the Extreme Rules matches was one match. We had one.
Oh, okay. So instead, this is not. They don't call them pay-per-views anymore, but this special event was named after one of the matches. Well, I mean that's all right. Well,
yeah, you really would think that the matches would live up to the gimmick of the pay-per-view, but
oh well, no. Where would you ever get that idea from? There's never been a real Rumble during the Royal Rumble. There's never been real Mania at WrestleMania.
True. There's never actually been Summer at a Slam.
Well, no, I guarantee there's been Summers at a Slam. You've been slammed before. That shit is hot, especially working outdoors. But that's another story. Following that, Kevin Owens defeats Braun Strowman in a steel cage match. Was that the chain link cage match, the gimmick cage match?
Yeah, yes. Well, it wasn't it was a steel cage, so it didn't have the top. And,
yeah, okay.
Owens selling the shit for Strowman like he should. Eventually, they both get up at the top of the cage. You would have thought that Owens, he could have just thrown Owens back inside the ring off the top of the cage, back inside, and Strowman would have gotten out. But no, logic doesn't apply to Braun Strowman, so he just chucks him out, falls right through the table, and Kevin Owens wins.
Mm.
And you know what ruined
I
that
could
match
see
for me?
that because, I mean, I'm just picturing someone throwing a candied apple,
Yeah,
up over a chain link fence.
you know what kind of ruined that match for me?
What's that?
That you could legitimately see. They replayed it 6 times. The fall. You could see the airbag. It like they're not even trying to hide it. You can see the airbag under the table. It's like,
Was it a table with a skirt around it?
no. It was like the announce table, but they had an airbag under it.
And through the announce table, and yeah.
And you could they replayed it 6 times, and then the last time they finally found an angle where you couldn't see the airbag. It was clear that, and you could he lands and it just starts deflating right in front of your face. You're just like, man,
well, if you look carefully, you can see them when they do the ring collapse spot. On a superplex, you can see that too.
But I mean that's more of like a wow, the ring collapsed. You don't really
if we could just take an aside right now and recognize this. The Go Home Raw before Extreme Rules, the one that just passed, so not this being Monday, so not tonight, but last week, was an instance of the lowest viewers of Monday Night Raw ever.
Yeah.
Throughout the history of a program that's running for 25 years, we found the low. No fewer people. I mean, comparative to cable structure way back then, but something like just under 3 million when I think at one point there were 11 million people watching this show.
Yeah.
So for this it's interesting, which means a decline in revenue, and then spending money on the airbag for a stunt that no one wanted to see in the first place. These are all things that future promoters should be taking into account, and these are ways to save money by not doing stupid shit like this that people are just going to point and laugh on fucking podcasts on Anchor.
Well, what a segue, Yell, because that's actually one of our topics. What makes, instead of talking about the Fed or the Titans, whatever you want to call it.
I find it funny how we just shit on the whole rest of the pay-per-view. Like, you know what? Fuck Dolph Ziggler and the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. No, we're not.
What the fuck is a 30-minute Iron Man match anyway? Not an Iron Man match.
I mean, I don't really see an Iron Man in the match at all. So it's kind of disappointing.
Regardless, that's not good. That's like calling World Wrestling Entertainment. It's just not a good use of terms. So we won't do that. We won't do that.
So,
but you're so smart. You're the real professional wrestler around here. I'm just some jabroni that's guessing, and I'm doing better than a lot of them. You tell me, what do you think makes a healthy indie wrestling promotion?
Healthy indie wrestling promotion. Well, the first thing on my list is have a roster. Have regulars.
You're asking a lot, because first and foremost, and if you don't mind, I'm going to shoot this down.
Yeah.
And we'll try and bring it back up because I could be wrong. But see, pro wrestling doesn't pay anything anymore. So it's very difficult to get people to fall on their ass for very little money in the same place to an audience that sits on their hands over and over again. That's what's killing your rosters.
Yeah, of course. But you could always do what, like places like OVW have done. You have a roster. You don't wrestle the same exact venue every single time. And I've seen a couple promotions do this. And the longest promotion to do it, what was their name? This place called Rockstar Pro. They had their own actual roster. They have an actual roster.
How many guys did they have?
I think they had like 20, maybe
20 guys. God damn. Okay.
Yeah, it was good. I was like, wow. But unfortunately, the company became defunct because of the promoter.
Paying 20 wrestlers.
Yeah. But it lasted longer than I thought it would. Lasted 5 years. And there really was never a low point for Rockstar. Well, Rockstar Pro just recently came back and is now not doing the old structure. They're just an indie wrestling company now. But the original structure, the promoter basically he couldn't pay, but there was
Naturally.
there was really never there was never a really low point in the company. It was just like, yeah, I can't pay you guys anymore. So
well, that's usually what puts most businesses out of business. Otherwise, the people would stick around.
Yeah, and it was good. It was good. It was a good show. A lot of the indie wrestlers at the time. We're speaking about like 2010 to 2011 and 2012, around that era. They were good. Mike Quackenbush. You probably don't know who that is.
I have seen Mike Quackenbush before, and
he was their top guy. Well, he wasn't their top guy, but he was one of their guys.
Yeah, his name has wafted toward the West Coast, so I have seen a couple of his matches. Unfortunately, I have heat with him because he has the same name as the Senator Daryl Quackenbush, and fuck that guy.
Man, are we gonna become Jim Cornette now? We're just gonna completely just stop talking about wrestling. Religion is bullshit.
Well, the one thing you have to understand is not to reference the competition on this program. God damn it! Fucking guy with the racket has no place on this show, first and foremost. But anyway, so you were saying about how this was doing so well until they didn't have money anymore.
Yeah, and it was almost like an ECW situation where they had packed houses, but they were bankrupt. It doesn't really add up.
No, it does. It does. If you're paying for buildings up front and expecting to be reimbursed through your own ticket sales, and then finding out nope, because you have to get the buildings first, and then you can either have a show and lose money, or you can cancel the show and lose more money.
Yeah, and it was successful. It worked. It had a different feel. It was good.
I don't know. Did you see the books?
Wait, the books?
Yeah. Do you know that they were making money? Because if they were making money, they'd probably still be around.
I mean, they know they were making money from 2008 to 2011, and then the last 2 years was not good.
See, that's interesting, and that's previous to what we are now spinning down from the indie wrestling boom. So that's interesting. They were able to draw money before that period.
And they had talent. They definitely did have talent. I'm trying to think. I know their top guy was Big Mike.
Great name.
Yeah. No, he's actually in New Japan. I'm trying to think of his last name, but he's the dude that got in the whole, abuse situation. Just look up Big Mike wrestler, and you'll find him.
Okay.
I can't, for some reason, I can't think of his last name. But they had that guy. I know they had Claudio Castagnoli for a little bit during 2009. Quackenbush was obviously one of their guys. They had Low Key, Sammy Callis.
Isn't that the guy that knocked himself out?
Knocked himself out?
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he the guy that or no, I'm sorry, he was wrestling some inexperienced fella. It was some match I saw somewhere, and the guy legitimately was knocked out.
Yeah, he did like a rolling kick and knocked the dude out clean.
Yeah, and then proceeded to do like the whole rest of the match without the guy.
Yeah.
Despite so yeah, this is the talent they had. Okay, please go on.
They had
I know you don't mean to bury these people, but that's what it sounds like you're doing.
No, I'm not trying to. It's just like that's what they had. I know Roderick Strong I know Roderick Strong was like there for fucking 2 weeks, but he had
like everywhere else. He's been everywhere for about 2 weeks.
And I know they had this like joint where they basically had like a cross promotion show. It was like FIP down in Florida versus Rockstar, and that was actually a really good show. It was a good.
Okay, well that's positive. It's just I don't know if it's something that I've noticed, but interpromotional shows tend to hurt business.
Yes,
I'm not, and for various reasons, I'm not smart enough to know exactly why that is, because it's usually for different circumstances. But every interpromotional, I don't know what you call it, a war or a feud, or because it always gets really work shooty, and that's fucking dangerous when you're trying to do business with people who are really like, this is how they feed their family.
Yeah.
And I've never seen, most of them go off half cocked. So that's number 2. Be careful with who you associate your business, because they always seem, and I don't want to say always, hopefully you can think of an example where this is better. But here in Southern California, I've seen that a few times, and it's show attendance has always dropped on both sides. I've noticed almost consistently.
That's pretty interesting.
I mean, have you seen to the opposite of my?
Well, I mean, down here in Florida, we obviously had there. We have the WWN Super Show, the World Wrestling Network, owned by I don't know if I don't know if I say his name, I'm probably gonna get shot. So I'm not gonna say his name, but he's owned by that guy. We're just gonna call him that guy because he's rich. And basically that guy is the owner of WWN. I think I'm trying to remember his name, but they had a promote. Well, WWN is like this. They're like the fucking NWA of indies right now. So they have FIP, Full Impact Pro. They have ACW. They have Evolve. They think they have Beyond Wrestling. They have
Sal Hamaoui.
Huh?
Founder's name is Sal Hamaoui.
Yeah, Sal, that guy. Yeah, he's not a good person. Not a good person. Money Mark, he's the definition of a money mark.
You expected more from pro wrestling?
Yeah. I have my hopes up. But Trevin Adams is one of the dudes that he's basically in charge of FIP. And at this point, FIP is near dead, but he's a mark for FIP. So he basically is the only person keeping it alive. And because he has money, he's putting money into a dead promotion. And people come, but it's not what it used to be. Because when Daniel Bryan was champion over there, that was the hottest thing in wrestling. The FIP title used to actually be a title of importance. Mm-hmm. It was the first title to be defended from Florida outside, from an indie promotion outside of the U.S. The FIP World title by Roderick Strong against I think it was Neville or Pac, in Britain in a basically British promotion ex-RH show. And the funny thing is that I think Samoa Joe was a champion at the time, and he was going to defend the Ring of Honor World title. Well, the Ring of Honor title that same night. So, if we're being technical, the FIP title was defended and made a world title before the Ring of Honor title, which is big deal, I guess. And I put
yeah, if you're a big fan of fake fighting, yeah.
Yeah. Really, yes.
Fake belts with fake fighting starring fake people.
I think the fake people is the most true of all,
I think so. I mean, another piece of advice, don't stick your dick in a professional wrestler. You will live to regret it.
And that goes for females as well, because
that's exactly what I mean. Male or female, they never stop working. Be advised of that.
So there have been a couple women that I take to the exception of not being rats for the business. I take a couple people, but everybody else, man, they're in the business.
Let me explain to you the first rule of professional wrestling. Everyone you trust, you shouldn't trust.
Because
they have coaxed you into that position because this is what they do professionally. That means they're really good at what they do.
It's a business. I mean,
it's a business. They ain't paying for their fucking 350Z on, good intentions and handshakes.
Jeez. And like,
they might be handshakes, but different kinds of handshakes.
Yeah. And like the things with that is there's so many of them. There's just so many. Like it's like an overflood of just neo morons walking around making money, but also being dicks. And they get away with it because
and they dress like Jeffrey the Giraffe. I understand.
Yeah, and because I lost my train of thought, but because they, dude, that man, the Extreme Rules is really fucking me up today. I watched that yesterday. I literally drooled for like 13 minutes after the pay-per-view was over.
Wow.
But yeah, they're oxymorons that are just walking around, have money, and the only reason they're getting away with being assholes is because they're your favorite wrestling promotion's promoter. And there's a lot of those people, aren't there? There are very.
Well, I wonder, are there? Because, see, here, I have a different perspective on that, I think, because I come from Southern California, and Southern California has always been death for professional wrestling. The last major run out here was fucking Freddie Blassie and Gorgeous George in the goddamn 50s. Anybody who cites anything other than that is talking about little bullshit that happened in little clubs and little places, not fucking stadiums like it is in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So, maybe that is the way it is on the East Coast, and I don't understand that, because if you have money, wouldn't you rather invest it in something that'll actually like make money and not bring lawsuits?
Well, here's the thing. This is really the psychology of being a promoter in the East Coast, at least down here. So, all right. So when WWE planted their performance center, that was a big jump for promoters in Florida. That was a big money grab for the reason of this. So, example A. Hey, do you want to be a professional wrestler? Well, come to my school. Because if you were trained under us for enough amount of time, WWE's down here. You can, I'll definitely get you signed. But we don't pay, because what would you rather have? Get noticed by WWE or get paid? So we don't really have to pay you because of down here. So yeah, no, there's no money down here. There is absolutely zero.
Well, and that's the thing is, that's not the only employment problem in Florida. Make no mistake about that. There's a whole bunch of quote unquote retired theme park workers down there who can't seem to get paid by anybody either, because of another major corporate entity that seems to have a stranglehold over that particular part of the country. But again, these are topics for another podcast. They're also ruining Star Wars, but that's another
the Independent podcast, the podcast that talks about other podcasts.
I know. We're going to establish a fucking network. It's going to be, it's going to be high time. That's the other thing. If people come here to hear about wrestling, and all it seems is, I swear to you, I really tried to find good things to say about pro wrestling, but god damn it, it gets harder and harder all the time.
And folks, if you don't believe me or him, I have the messages. I have the messages of him just, explaining to me how hard it is to look.
Oh yeah, and the best part is, on this program, I'm being nice.
Sad. Well, okay, so we'll try. You know what? Let's talk about somebody that's underrated and people know but don't really appreciate.
We just had to totally shift away from what makes a healthy wrestling promotion, because they're not healthy. These people are crazy. Go somewhere else, do something
I've
different.
I've literally given up. I don't think there's
collect stamps. You'll be much happier.
I mean, okay. So a really short solution, and this is just my solution: get good at what you do. Don't fuck with anybody unless you know that either A, they have connections and they really do like you, or B, just get good, leave as soon as possible, start, anywhere else that's not Florida and that has wrestling, and, just be patient, because I am not patient and I want to get out of this state really goddamn bad. That's just
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to attend independent pro wrestling shows because Robert Martyr needs to get the fuck out of Florida. And if he doesn't, it's all your fault.
It's all your fault, and I'm going to hold
all of you personally responsible, and we're all going to sequester you to a hotel and make you all watch Suburban Commando several times in a row.
And on top of that, we'll just play mantras of "It's a man called Sting" over and over again, because that's the best theme song of all time. Fight me. Or you can,
he's got his working trunks on today, folks.
A contender is "It's American Made." That shit was great. That shit was amazing. Like, Skinny Hogan is the best Hogan. When he's off the
Hogan is the best Hogan.
When he was off the gas, man. Dude, that guy looks like...
No, he had to fit onto sound stages.
Man, that was a depressing time. Anyways, we're gonna talk about
Hulkamania goes down south.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about... Actually, that is a topic, but we're not gonna talk about that today.
No, next time.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about a guy that's, really probably if we're talking about workers, like real workers, is like number one on the list. That guy, in my opinion, Yale said it best himself. He is wrestling in the sense. Arn Anderson.
Arn Anderson is professional wrestling. I mean, just look at him, and he looks so mean. And like, if I look like that, I'd be mad too.
Jeez, I mean, that guy. The scary thing about Arn Anderson is that he looks like, your dad's brother.
Not my dad's brother.
This guy, like, he works a 9 to 5 at like, I don't know, like he
works at a lumber mill.
And he
punches his wife on Saturday. He's a man's man.
He's a man's man. After he's done doing that, he goes, plays golf, and talks shit about his children to his friends at the golf club.
Yeah.
And then comes back.
He wears flannel all the time.
Yes. That's the type of dude that Arn Anderson looks like.
He wears shooting glasses while he drives.
He only uses he's one of those dudes that like only drives with one hand, but if he sees anybody else doing it, he calls them a nerd.
Yeah.
One of those guys.
Like I told you earlier, I would pay to see him argue a parking ticket, because when you see Arn Anderson get on the microphone saying, "What does this bald motherfucker with a giant head," and this is before he was full of holes from being stabbed by scissors. If you don't know that story, it's all over YouTube. And where was I going with that?
You something about him being bald.
Yeah. So it's just he's it's interesting because there are certain people that have certain promos, certain ways of talking. Hulk Hogan, for instance, a smiling face invites you in. Bruno Sammartino, a stern face. This guy knows what he's talking about. Arn Anderson looks like shit, but halfway through you are captivated, like, yeah, that's fucking right. We don't have to take this shit. And you're on Arn Anderson's side in no time. And he can also turn that on its ear and make you hate him just by telling you. Now, mind you, this baldy-headed prick with this giant head telling you how great he and his friends are, and you want to see this motherfucker killed in the street. That's money, and we're not even talking about ring work. This is just him standing there talking on a microphone, looking like he is about to spit.
The enforcer, in my opinion, is the greatest gimmick, just for the simple fact that he's purposely not put into power, but he has a power name. So the enforcer is literally just a cool word for saying, I'm the dude that protects my friends.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yes, he is so genuine in his blandness.
It's so
like
amazing.
if you really look at the whole thing, right? He's fucking white. He's Southern. He probably loves his mama. He takes no shit from nobody. And we've never really seen him enforce anything. Like, I've never seen Arn Anderson as a guest referee. I've seen him be cruel, with the
and I've just
with the
seen
slingshot under the bottom rope.
I've seen him just have like the most straight. I don't think even Malenko can pull it off. He has the most straight face when he comes down to the ring. Like, I've never seen that dude have a singular emotion in my life. Like, and like the only way you know if he's happy or mad is two things. He puts a 4 up if he's happy. He just has his hands on his waist if he's mad, and he's just walking down to the ring.
Well, what I gathered is, what I figured out is if Arn is wearing his street clothes, like, the fucking with the crocodile shirt with the slacks and the hush puppies, Arn's mad. I know that because he has this look where the lip kind of sneers a little bit, like he looks like somebody's dad who's about to take off the belt.
Yeah.
Like, if these fucking young punks, so Arn Anderson's taking off a belt and everybody's going to get whipped with a big heavy H. Whipped. Because that's how they talk down there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just so like Dean Malenko, just the name, he's vaguely ethnic, so that's what kind of gives him that edge. But Arn Anderson, his name is Anderson. His name is supposedly his name is I know his name is Lewis something, and I can never remember what it is, but his name is Arnold Anderson.
God.
That's how much whiter can you get? But that's when Arn's mad, though, is when he's dressed like the school principal. That's exactly what.
Yeah, and the best thing about I think his promos, before we get into like his in-ring work, is that like he's always like on the side of Ric Flair. And then he's like, I'm so freaking great, and Rick over here, the greatest wrestler in the world. We got Tully, who great wrestler, but he's just there. And then
nobody likes Tully.
Huh?
Nobody likes Tully.
and then we got Ole. Oh no, we can't talk about him. We got
we've got Wild Card over here.
Oh God, we got Benoit. I don't.
Luger, Stinger, Roma, Benoit, Pillman, whoever.
I can't believe they freaking put Luger. As all people they could have thought.
Why?
Just
why not Luger? Don't you hate Luger?
I hate Luger.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, because they were a heel at the time. Yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Just made me hate.
I'm not saying Lex Luger's any good at anything. I'm just saying he's really easy to dislike.
Yeah, and I'm just like, ugh.
Even when he's being nice, like, you fuck this guy.
It's just like this guy. It's like
you take your ICO and stick it in your pro, Lex.
Oh gosh. All right. So as far as his in-ring work. Yeah, that's my new restaurant. I'm gonna call my.
Are you already got plans for your retirement money? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah. No, we're gonna.
Wrestling is just a means to an end.
Yeah, I mean, all good things must come. I mean, all shit things must come to an end. And,
everything dies.
George Carlin, everything dies. It's my favorite quote. But as far as his in-ring work, that guy was a literal machine. That dude was crazy. That he has the best DDT I've ever seen, period.
Not only that, he has the best reversal for a DDT.
Yes.
Like, you're going to DDT me so hard, I'm going to catch my arm on the rope, and you're going to fall on your back, and you'll be dead, and Arn Anderson will be just fine.
And the best, I think he's the first people to do the fake. Like, he'll go for a punch, he'll duck under, and he'll snap you with a DDT. That was, like, my favorite spot ever. It was a match he did with Macho, and he was about to, like, he reeled in for a punch, Macho ducked and DDT'd him. Like,
and the thing is, I don't understand, like, now this is being a smart fan, which I fucking hate. I dearly miss kayfabe, but being a smart fan, knowing that it always seems like Arn would throw the DDT in the corner, close to the edge of the ring apron, and that's where that hurts the most.
Yes.
So if you're thinking from that perspective, so that was always interesting, and you knew Arn threw them good because even though they're right next to the ropes, no one ever tried to put their feet in the ropes or get away from Arn. So that they sold him, made him look good. So there's two elements of that equation, of course.
Yeah. And also, I just think, in my opinion, without saying anything, Arn was the most confident in the ring. Like he looked like he didn't have to say anything. He just knew.
No, not a thing. He looked like he was chewing his teeth.
Oh my gosh, that guy was like, and everybody does this, the spine buster, obviously, but like,
nobody like Arn Anderson. Nobody did it. Still, to this day, you can say what you want about The Rock, and The Rock is okay, and John Cena, his is okay, and
I always thought The Rock's spine buster was not that good. I never.
It depends on which one. It depends on which one, because Rocky, he was a 60-40 kind of guy. The talking made up for him being a idiosyncratic performer in the ring. But let's not shit on Rocky right now. Arn Anderson deserves a spotlight.
Yeah, still this day, the only dude that I've almost seen identical to Arn Anderson was CW. CW did a
CW. Well, CW. Yeah.
Anderson.
Yes, I'll give you that. But CW was also taller.
Yeah, he was much bigger.
So, I mean, that's a spine buster is only naturally going to look a little bit better with somebody who's taller.
Yeah.
Because the straighter the more parallel you have someone straighten their back out, the more brutal it looks.
Yeah.
And that's when it also makes the most sound.
I know Carl does a pretty good one. But the thing I've noticed is with the Anderson family, and I don't know if many people know, but there's a kayfabe lineage of Arn Andersons. Like they're just
absolutely. That's so everyone can get away. See, that's the brilliant thing about pro wrestling. That's something great that never gets talked about is how when you make these fake families, it's an excuse to run the same fucking moveset as somebody else.
Yeah. So look it up for me, Yell. Oh, while we're doing this, because
sure.
Just look up the Anderson. I want to know. I know it's Arn, it's Ole, Carl,
Gene Anderson,
CW. I know there's a couple others, but basically they're just all clones of Arn, and you can be the judge of which one's the best one, but it's just an excuse to have the same exact moveset and just wrestle like Arn because they like Arn Anderson. And
let me see here. Okay, I got it. According to Wikipedia, which is always right all the time.
Yes.
The primary brothers is Gene Anderson, Ole Anderson, Lars Anderson, and Arn Anderson. I'm sorry, Arn Anderson is Marty Lund.
Oh, okay.
Cousins to the family, Ric Flair, obviously. Children, Brad Anderson, son of Gene Anderson. Bryant Anderson, son of Ole Anderson. David Flair, son of Ric Flair. Ric Flair, son of Ric Flair. Charlotte Flair, daughter of Ric Flair. And then others. Rocky Anderson, Pat Anderson, Chris Wright, C.W. Anderson, Carl Anderson, T.C. Anderson, with whom I'm not familiar, and Ed Anderson, with whom I'm not familiar. So, again, this is a great thing, and it's a shame there are not more wrestling families. We have like two wrestling families, the Anderson family and the McMahon family. And the McMahon family needs to stay the fuck out of a wrestling ring forever.
I mean, okay, so, yes, but
the best thing about a McMahon being anywhere near a wrestling match was Stephanie McMahon's ass at WrestleMania 33, I think it was. With the leather pants. My God, 41 years old and looking like 41 years old in leather pants, but that's aside from the point. I'm praising Stephanie McMahon. Just accept it.
She's one of our viewers. We got
right. See, I'm getting a job. I'm off to Connecticut because I said good things about the boss's ass life or I'm getting a fucking lawsuit on my desk. Either way, but wrestling needs more families. I really honestly believe that.
Yeah.
But Arn Anderson, let me tell you about something that I love about Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson could see, because you hate him, right? And he's such a dumb white man, but for some reason he talks real good. You know, like he did some lawyering up at Oxford or something like that. Like he's one of the smart, poor, dumb white people, you know?
Yeah.
And Arn made reversals seem like, I don't want to call it an art, but like a form of mathematics. You know, you ever seen somebody with a chalkboard and they're real good with math and they put together something like, holy shit, that looks really complex, when in fact the key is just to reach zero?
Yeah.
Arn Anderson makes a reversal seem like no one else could do that but him. I'm going to give you an example. I want to say it was him and Tully working as the Brain Busters in the WWF Survivor Series 1988, I want to say. They were in a big 10-on-10 Survivor Series. So imagine the WWF in the late 80s, all these 300-pounders, 20 of them surrounding a ring. The ring looked so small. It was amazing. And I want to say it's one of the Conquistadors. Conquistadors or... No, I beg your pardon. It was Davey Boy Smith of the British Bulldogs had Arn in the full Nelson. And Arn, he had the fingers clasped. Arn was fucked. Arn had his arms up and Arn was getting ready to go out. And then Arn flipped his legs up onto the top rope, like sprung off of Davey's chest, and put his feet up on the top rope to, quote, in kayfabe, relieve the pressure on the back of his shoulders, so that way he would not submit to Bulldog's thing. And then by rolling into the ropes, he had to break. Like, that's such a fucking wrestling thing. I've never seen anything like that, and I've never seen anything like that since. And I just wanted to say that Arn Anderson's great.
Yeah, and
if you have the network, watch WWF Survivor Series 1988. You'll see what I mean. Your mind will be blown, and if it isn't, then you just don't like wrestling, you asshole.
and the best thing with Arn too, one of the best things with Arn is that Arn, like at first sight, you're like, oh, look at this scrub. Like he does not look like in tip-top shape. You know,
not at all.
Wait, what? Are you disagreeing with me?
No. He looks like a big hairy boulder.
Yeah, and you're just like, look at this dude, right? And then he starts wrestling, and you're just like, you feel offended after you see him wrestle, and like this dude.
You're like, oh wait, there's muscle under there. Aha.
And the best thing about one of the most fascinating things I've seen about Arn was when he was like, I'm not sure, I think it was early WCW. I want to say like 92, and he wrestled Muta, and like I think like Muta was like the top heel, and when Arn DDT'd him, I've never seen a bigger pop for a DDT in my life. I've never, still to this day, I will yet to see a bigger pop for a DDT. That dude just wham right on freaking Muta's head. Muta's completely out. JR's freaking out. He's like, DDT, pin him on. Like this is like if he doesn't win, like we're all going to hell. Like that's the type. And he like freaking JR is just like, he doesn't say by God, but he's like, pin him. Like it's like he's watching his favorite football team about to win the Super Bowl for the first time, and he pins him 1, 2, 3, and then people just start fucking screaming. They're like, oh shit, fucking Arn Anderson pinned the Great Muta that could not be pinned. Not even Ric Flair could beat him. And like that, I have a friend that continues to say that Arn Anderson was the worst horseman, and I continue to punch him in the face every time. And the worst thing about that is like, whenever I bring up that he pinned Muta and never, Rick couldn't do it, it always gets him, and it's amazing because he can't refute it.
Well, whether he pinned him or not, I mean, that's just a matter of doing business. And Muta was probably on his way out anyway, and he never really got over in WCW. And the toughest thing is, yeah, if you go back and look, because there's a few times I think that Arn wrestles Muta, and they are some of the greatest examples of technical wrestling if everyone's so interested in that nowadays. And you think back in 1992, they couldn't draw anybody to come see that.
Yeah, and it was only Arn and Muta that could really pull. And
I disagree because
I'm not
by that point they already had Brian Pillman,
money.
They had Brad Armstrong.
Yeah. And like, as far as like making money out of it, like,
oh well, that's not what you said.
Yeah, and man, those days, look, I know Arn was not a big fan of wrestling Muta. He didn't like it. He did not like wrestling Muta. But the thing is that he had the best matches with him. Like the matches with Muta and Arn are some of my favorite matches Arn's ever had. But I listened to like shoot interviews, and he's like, I fucking hated wrestling Muta because Muta was so stiff. And
let's see, the other thing is that was their style. That's that puro reso style that just
put us all. Yeah, and they couldn't handle it. Like, it's almost the example of like when Billy Robinson came to North America and nobody could wrestle him, and he wouldn't make money because nobody could wrestle his style.
Well, he was also a fucking asshole to everybody. That's kind of part of it. Oh yeah, you never heard about that?
Sorry, I don't know what happened. But was he really?
Yeah, I understand. There was all sorts of heat with fucking Billy Robinson, man. Nobody, I understand. Like I've heard Baron von Raschke say bad things about fucking Billy Robinson, and Barry von Raschke is one of the nicest men ever. For being a German Nazi sympathizer and all that stuff. You know?
And like
I've heard Superstar Billy Graham say bad things, and I've never heard Superstar. Well, actually, Superstar Billy Graham has made more of a habit of burying people in recent years, but
was he like Dynamite Kid bad, or like?
No, I mean, see, I don't want to give too much. We're taking away Arn Anderson time, but we can bury Billy Robinson another day. But the point is, Billy Robinson. I've heard all sorts of bad. Now, I never knew Billy Robinson. I just know that he hurt people after they let him, put them in holds. It's real easy to fucking shoot on somebody and hurt somebody when you've already got them in a hold.
Yeah, and
so all the legend of Billy Robinson can suck my crack.
Nah, man, I like Billy, but as far as it is,
no, I enjoy watching Billy, but as far as there could have been great matches with Billy Nuzville if he'd stop being a fucking asshole.
Well, I mean,
do business.
He was so confident with it. I know we're still taking time from Arn Anderson, which we'll get back to it, but Robinson was pretty confident in his ability of being, one of the greatest catch wrestlers of all time. But,
which is fine if professional wrestling as we know it were a shoot, but it isn't. It's a source of entertainment. And just because you're good at fucking moves doesn't mean that you should be the fucking champion. I'm saying that to every last goddamn independent wrestler today, by the way.
And I mean, one of the only dudes that could really, really actually keep up with, like Billy Robinson, and like I was segueing with the Arn Anderson and Muta, one of the only dudes that could keep up with like Muta was in the case of Billy Robinson was Nick Bockwinkel, and that dude was from North America, and when they wrestled for the first time, like apparently like Billy was really thrown off that he could keep up with him. And Nick, like, they had the best matches as far as like, and that's why some of the only matches you'll see on YouTube with involving Billy Robinson is with Nick Bockwinkel, because they made them. That's how Billy Robinson made money in North America, wrestling Nick Bockwinkel.
Well, also because he was friends with Vern Gagne, and Vern Gagne booked him toward the top.
Yeah, and also
that's like the only friend that Billy Robinson ever made was Vern Gagne.
Also, I know he wrestled Carl Gotch, and he had classics with Gotch.
Because Gotch could fuck him up.
Yeah. Gotch was like one of
you keep naming like legitimate people. Of course, he never fucked with any legitimate people. You're not putting like he never wrestled fucking Hulk Hogan because actually maybe he did.
Did he?
I don't know. They were in the AWA around the same. We're taking away Arn Anderson time. We're gonna do our research. We'll be back next week with more on bullshit fuck ass Billy Robinson.
Okay. Well, Arn, the best thing about Arn, the best thing out of everything, out of his ring work, out of just like my favorite Arn moment did not consist of him in a match. It consisted of him against Ric Flair, and in my opinion, Tony Schiavone called it perfectly. I don't know exactly where it was, but I know it was like I think it was Starrcade.
Was that in Norfolk, Virginia? Was that World War III '95? They did that.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It was one of those. Yeah. I remember when they did that. That was a fucking. Now it's interesting the way they shot a lot of wrestler sittings. I'm like, everybody wants to see this, but they're wearing their fucking gear.
Yeah.
No, I do remember that, and I that's a shame that I don't have that data in front of me. But please go on.
But while Arn Anderson was walking to the ring, this is actually one of my favorite Arn Anderson entrances because I've never seen him more focused as far as his facial features. And he said Schiavone was like, there's not many people in wrestling that can call wrestling or their own company their backyard. WCW is Arn Anderson's backyard.
I beg your pardon, that was Fall Brawl '95. I knew there was more than one ring.
Yeah, there was two. And yeah, like he was like Arn Anderson, WCW is Arn Anderson's backyard. And I was like, that is a true statement. That's something that can get me into that match because it's both their backyards. Both men, in my opinion, I think Arn's the best horseman, but like just the build up to the match. It wasn't the build up itself. It was more everything that wasn't build up was build up with the entrances because of how good Schiavone was putting over both men and putting over WCW in the process, saying that Arn Anderson is, the big dog essentially of WCW. And when that match happened, man, what a match.
That's definitely what I would consider a shining nugget of gold in a river of sludge. I mean, when you look at all of and again, that also was heavily overshadowed by whatever the hell Hulk Hogan was doing on Monday Nitro.
Yeah.
So definitely a great moment, and I want to say that match was because of Arn.
How so?
I don't know. That match to me was, especially again the way that it was such a rare instance. WCW has only managed to really capture angles and feuds in the packages that lead up to the matches on the pay-per-views.
There wasn't a package for that match either.
Maybe I'm just thinking. Well, see, also, I'm very well versed in that era of. No, they showed footage from Nitro because Nitro had happened like the week before for like the very first time, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I remember them showing something, but it was very emotional. If you.
Yeah, I know. What
it was presented well, and which is a rarity in World Championship Wrestling, because it wasn't as over the top. It was almost I think because Hulk Hogan was all of the focus, because I think wasn't it like the Hulkamaniacs versus the Dungeon of Doom in the War Games, and that was so it seemed like that was the predominant thing at WCW was the Hulk Hogan show was going on. So it seems like that match didn't get a whole lot of attention when in fact there was so much, like you said, when Arn came down to the ring. He doesn't want to do this, but he has to do this.
Yeah.
Why?
He has to prove that he's the guy. He's the guy that's been. Yeah. I remember hearing. I remember hearing. Brain saying like this is Arn Anderson's moment. He wants to prove that he is WCW. He's the guy that's been putting this company on his back all these years, and that it was like, damn, it's really the guy who was on top. And Tony Schiavone made a beautiful point.
Before you go on, though, you realize that's how fucking disorganized fucking WCW is, where Bobby Heenan's allowed to go over as a babyface? You find yourself cheering for Bobby Heenan, like something's wrong here.
Yeah, and you know, like the crazy thing is like I'm trying to think. Arn Anderson was always in the shadow of Ric Flair because Ric Flair always had the belt, and still to this day I have no clue why Arn Anderson never got a shot at the title.
I can tell you why, but please go on.
I mean, it was probably because number one, Rick's his buddy, and you know, his kind of whole gimmick was to protect Rick. So, and the Horseman, so it makes sense, but it sucks. But that match was just too good. That match was
I agree with you absolutely, and it definitely lives up to the hype, mostly because they didn't put anything behind it. But it's also that, and I'm going to say this, I never say things like this, but that was an achievement also for Tony Schiavone.
Yeah,
because those three men was what you knew of WCW, and that was really, I think, it was a fitting signal of the death of what WCW had been up to that point. It was all the good stuff concentrated in this one little segment, one little span of time before the NWO came and fucking wrestling was fucked till the end of time. You know, it was those three people. I wish Jim Ross had been there. The only thing missing from that equation is Jim Ross or Gordon Soley. But Tony Schiavone did a great job, despite the fact that he's a baseball announcer that watches wrestling. You know, but that's neither here nor there. You're right though. It was Arn's moment, and that's where Arn really broke out. Now, if we're going to talk honestly about Arn, especially if you understand the dynamics of professional wrestling, say 1977 through 1992, we'll say just for the sake of argument, and what the idea of wrestling was and what wrestlers look like, nobody is putting their belt on a guy that looks like that. Period. That's not a face you can put on a billboard. That's not a face you can put on posters. It's barely a face you can put on. He's not even on the t-shirt. What is on the t-shirt? A big Roman numeral 4. That is better looking than Arn Anderson. And that is why Arn was not the champion. Now, I will say this. If anybody can remember, the WCW World Television Championship, that belt that no one gave a fuck about. I think Hacksaw Jim Duggan found it in the trash one day. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Arn Anderson made that belt mean something.
I mean, you're the champion of TV, and
which at one point really meant something until the internet decided that it was more important than everything else. But
you know, Arn absolutely to this day is probably one of my favorite workers of all time because that dude could work. And
well, absolutely. Arn Anderson was what they call a carpenter.
Yeah,
he could build a house. Like, I'll tell you the truth. I know that I've seen everything Ric Flair knows how to do. Whereas whenever I watch Arn Anderson, I see something new almost every time. Just little inflections, little bitty things. Arn Anderson is a guy that will keep me coming. Guys like that keep you coming back. And because it's not someone who's dying for your attention. It's just giving you something. It's something done well. There's always something to be said. You know, you can talk about whatever's popular at the time that's selling millions of copies or whatever, but something done well, a well done, a steak or whatever it might be. It's something done well, and that's what will keep your customers coming back. Yeah, in my opinion.
Well, enough time for Arn, Best Horseman, but we're going to talk about. I think this is our second to last segment. What are the guys? We're gonna give some.
Bravo on the transition, by the way.
Huh?
Bravo on the transition. Fantastic work.
Yeah. Really, really good on the transition. I'm great. But Yeah, I wish we had like one of those like soundboards in those old podcasts. It's just like it's it has like
I wish we had money too, but
yeah.
In due time.
But basically, we're gonna give some spotlight to I guess the the indie wrestlers that deserve spotlight. We'll just say that.
Sure. Well, I mean, I can't say that I know everybody. You know more of them than I do because I got this. Can I tell you about something? This is something I really want to share with you.
Go ahead.
You familiar with the people that bought TNA, the Anthem Sports Group? I guess.
Yeah.
They, they're just giving their content away, right?
For free. I know.
Yeah, they're making a TV show just to give it away, and not only that, they can't spend enough money on this wrestling TV show that no one watches, but they also make another show that's about the show, and no one watches that either, but they're paying to produce these things. Anyway, I turn on that show every now and again, right? Free wrestling, and I'm a wrestling fan. I am in their chief demographic, right? I'm not one of the people they're trying to get to come watch. I'm not, a casual audience. I am a wrestling fan, and I love professional wrestling. And whenever I turn on their show with the new guys, some of the indie wrestlers go work there, I just turn it off. I will not even watch a free product.
Why?
Because, like we talked about, Arn Anderson, someone who's doing something that they're just good at, and God damn it, is it refreshing. And then you watch somebody who's clearly seen somebody else do this before, but what they do it with all the conviction of a Megan Fox, or who's that girl that sucks? Kelly Marie Tran. It's like that. It's these people that why am I shitting all over the fucking TV people? Fuck those people. You tell me who's hot right now, and I'll tell you who I know.
Who's hot? So, do you want me to? Man, we are the best at keeping topics.
We are great at this. We should be on the network.
Fuck podcasts. Let's go to radio.
All those fat fucks on the network. We won't name names. If they can get jobs, why can't we?
Oh, jeez.
I got a beard. It's okay.
Listen, man. Listen, I'm trying to get a job. All right, I'm trying. Like this. Like you kind of if people find out who I am, right, and they just hear me shitting on everything, and you're even powdering, to this like false narrative that I hate wrestling, right? I'm gonna lose some bookings, man. And
man, and then then you'll have to go elsewhere, and you might actually get money.
Oh,
we can't have that because we're starving artists. God damn it.
So, all right. So, as far as
who's great in Florida besides you?
I can't. Okay, I'll name a couple people in Florida. Man, there are not many good people in Florida. There's a guy named There's a guy.
That's what I heard, but please go on.
There's a guy named Carlos Gabriel, good friend of mine. Very, 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 very good as far as psychology. He's not a spot monkey. He's like a wannabe spot monkey, but he can't because he's so good at psychology. That's basically how I can, I guess, describe his style. He wants to be the cool, flippy. He's not a flippy dude. He's a striker, but he wants to be the cool indie, spot monkey fest guy. But he's just so well rounded into psychology of his matches. He just can't because his man, and it's helping him because. So, let's say you have some jabroni come along, right? He wants to be Mr. Cool Guy, have all these cool spots, blah, 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 blah. Carlos won't have that, and it's not even intentional. But Carlos's way of creating a match is very, very, very different from a lot of people. He basically is trying to understand what is the point of them being there besides trying to win the match. And it's almost like Arn Anderson to the point, like we were speaking on Arn earlier, how he he just knows what he's doing, and the reversals that he can come up with is ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Carlos is almost the same in you see something new every single time, and it's not some crazy weird move that could kill somebody. It's more of, whoa, I did not think he could, get out of that in that way. Let's say you're in the Carlos is in the corner, and somebody's running at him, fucking axe handle or something, and he'll just find a very interesting way to move out of the way. It's like he overcomplicates a simple just go. It's really cool. I don't know, but that guy's really talented, really freaking talented.
Sounds like fun. Sounds good to me. Everyone, search Carlos Gabriel on YouTube.
Yeah, and I mean, you can yell if you want. You can look up what he looks like, but he also has his tag team partner who I used to train with, Andrew Merlin, and their tag team called Critical Mayhem. They're a good tag team because they actually do the gimmick of a tag match. They tag.
Wow.
And it's like, the funny thing is, like, by the sound of that, you think I'm being sarcastic, but nowadays tag team matches are just two singles matches in one match.
Well, actually, here in California, there are Texas Tornado matches without actually being called Texas Tornado matches.
Oh, no. Down here, we actually, tag.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Another
and they say the regional territories are dead.
Yeah, another great thing. I guess people down here in Florida, down here in Florida, my trainer, Eric Lockhart, and his brother Andrew, who are actually trained by Booker T. So they're great. They have basically like this. I don't even know how to describe their gimmick. Just their theme song is basically it's called Now You Know. So it's just like this girl just saying, "Now you know, now you know, now you know," and it's just that the entire time. It's great. Mm-hmm. They just do weird poses and dances, and they can wrestle. Unlike 90% of wrestling. I'm trying to think. I don't really have anybody else in Florida, man. Everybody.
Well, good. Next time we're gonna have to write these things down and get organized like a radio program.
Yeah, and I'm stuttering on purpose because nothing is good in Florida. Like, everything sucks.
Oh, I find that hard to believe, but I'm sure you found, like me, is when you keep searching through shit to find a jewel, you eventually just get overcome by the smell and you don't want to go anymore.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm dealing with. But there's some guys here in California that I could talk up.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I talked about him on the program. Dude that I know, Julius, he calls himself Jew Diz. And Jew Diz works down here for the SoCal Pro Wrestling promotion here in San Diego, California. I've also seen Jew work in Nevada and Las Vegas. Fantastic name for the promotion, right? Jew's a really great worker. I've always said that he's too good. He's when he came in a few years ago, and he came in through one of the wrestling schools here. I'm confident that he had wrestled somewhere else before. He was doing sort of a Public Enemy gimmick, and I don't mean Public Enemy like the wrestling group. I mean Public Enemy, the rap group with the giant clocks and shit.
Oh.
And the nerd glasses. So it was a really interesting thing that he was doing. It's borderline racist. I mean, it's like, look at me, I'm black. But when he didn't really need any of that, he's just really good at what he does. I've seen him do some really dangerous shit, like throwing a leg drop off the top of a fucking 14-foot ladder, and I guess blew one of his ass cheeks out. And so don't do that. But
no.
Judiz is just a great worker, and it's a funny name, I gather, but there's one guy, Judiz. Another guy that works around here is, in fact, these guys had a feud just last year, the year before. Guy, his name is Mike Camden, and Mike Camden, his gimmick's name is he is the athlete, Mike Camden. You want to talk about boring ass white people names? He is the athlete, and he athleticizes people or whatever. Anyway, Mike is very athletic, as you might imagine. I mean, that's true promotion right there. You know, tell the people what he does. He wears a big beard, and he came in real skinny, and then he got abs suddenly. He went on the 1-2-3 kid diet, and suddenly had just fucking abs from here to Abilene. So, whatever he is. Mike had a really great thing going, and God, I hate to talk about wrestlers like this, but I think he was smart. He's doing what a lot of people did, and invited his friends and his family to come see him every time he wrestled. So every time in our home building for the promotion, there'd be a corner that we designated Camden Corner. And I started noticing, boy, these people look a lot like Mike. And I recognized that it was his mother and his sisters and I guess cousins and friends from work or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that group steadily eroded, and there was just fewer and fewer. And suddenly there was no Camden Corner. They just stopped showing or whatever. So I guess but Mike is really good. Mike, I'm sad to say that I know him best for he does what I call the moonsault to nowhere, which is where he throws the moonsault and someone moves and he lands directly on his abs, which I guess is why he built up the abs in the first place, to prevent from breaking his fucking rib cage.
Yeah.
Maybe. But Mike's real good. Mike's real athletic. Unfortunately, Mike has been working around here as a heel in recent months, or probably the last year or so, and he is completely inconsequential as a heel. So if anyone knows Mike Camden, which you probably don't, but tell Mike that I think that he is inconsequential as a heel, and he's better off. He's like Tim Horner, you don't really, you don't want to hate him, but you find it difficult to feel one way or another about him. But a solid athlete, absolutely. And then there's another kid. I want to bury somebody right now. There's this guy, this fucking faggot who calls himself Mr. Excitement. His name is Ryan Kidd. And Ryan Kidd was a real novel thing when he came in when he was a teenager. But now he's just reckless and he puts people in harm's way, in my opinion. And I think he's a fucking asshole.
Mr. Excitement.
Mr. Excitement.
What a nickname.
And guess, would you like to hear his tagline? I'll tell it to you right now. Woo! That's his tagline.
So like I can imagine this. hits drop kick. Woo!
Yeah, does handspring backflip. Woo! And then he stands there and holds out his index finger like, I'm number one. And then more woo, and then he finally fucking leaves. He had the secondary title, the Golden State Championship around here, as they called it, which is incidentally a silver belt, which is funny to me. And he would just come on the middle of the card and stink up the joint. Ryan Kidd, I know you're not listening, but if you are, fuck you. Drop over, drop dead. I hope you burst into flame, you piece of shit.
Damn. All right. Well, things just got...
That escalated quickly. I would like to apologize.
We're going to call this the hot. We're going to call it the hot seat.
Yeah. I would like to apologize.
You just got put on blast. So
I did. I would like to apologize. I would like to apologize to the friends and family of Ryan Kidd, but not to Ryan Kidd himself.
All right. So another dude. He's not in a couple other people. He's not necessarily in Florida, but Cole Radrick. This guy's he's from Indiana. And he is a great guy, great wrestler. His gimmick is that he wants to die, and that's his gimmick. And he's young, and basically
he should wrestle Walter.
Yeah, I know. Wait, you found out about Walter?
I found out about Walter. I saw that he was at one of the New Japan or one of the All Japan things.
Yeah, and basically, yeah, that's his gimmick, and he has a lot of very interesting moves. Another dude, they're basically kind of all part of the Indiana clique that's coming out of Indiana for some reason, and there's a big Indiana boom about to start if more of those guys keep coming out. Jonathan Wolf, I personally met him. The dude is crazy good, 19 years old. Crazy good. Probably has the best drop kick I've ever seen because the way he hits. Okay, so he hits the drop kick, right? beautiful on the face. So just picture the best drop kick on the money you've ever seen, right? And then he sticks the landing.
You're shitting me.
I'm dead serious.
Does he come back over in like a backflip coil and stick it?
Like, kinda, yeah. Like, he hits it beautifully, right on the money, and just sticks the landing. And it's the most impressive shit you've ever seen in your life. Like, you're like,
I don't know about you folks, but I'm getting on YouTube to check this out right after the program.
dude, I can send it to you. It's the craziest.
You do that, but to see the people won't know about it, but I'm gonna watch it and I'll be surprised.
Yeah, sticks the landing. Absolutely insane. I was at one of the shows and I felt like, trolling. And I literally
naturally.
He did I think he did like basically they did a spot. Also another dude, Troy Hollywood, who was wrestling. That guy's insane. Insanely good, actually. And those two were doing a spot where Troy went on the outside, Wolf followed him, Troy went back in the ring, Wolf followed him, Wolf caught him, chucked Troy out of the ring, and did a suicide dive. But the thing that, in my opinion, made the suicide dive better is me yelling, "Oh my goodness," as he's going for the suicide dive. And then I just yelled Squidward, and the entire room popped. And it was like, I did my job. I did.
You did. You made it all worthwhile.
And I also made another move. He did like a standing moonsault, and I literally said, "Kobe." And literally, all right. So I personally know the promoter, and I watched the show on my phone, and he says Kobe standing moonsault, and I felt accomplished. That was. And another promotion that is really good, Punk Pro Wrestling, indie show, but good wrestling. There will be some matches where it's just indie bullshit, but there's some matches were actually good. So it's kind of like ECW, where some shit just doesn't make sense. Some wrestling is okay, and it just doesn't make sense. But then you have some wrestling where it's really good.
And then you have some matches where people contract hepatitis.
Yes. Yes. Another dude. Sage Phillips, the mini Dean Malenko, and I say mini because he's like 5'6" or 5'2" or something like that. He's very small. He at most he's 5'7". No, I would say 5'6", but he's somewhere around there. And he's basically Dean Malenko, but he's small. So it's like everything he does is way more impressive because of his size. And he's not that big either. He has size, but he's, not the Dean Malenko size.
Maybe he should leave the vest on throughout the entire match. It might make him look a little bigger.
Why have you? Wait a second. Did you search him up?
No, just Dean Malenko wore a vest. I figured naturally this kid would wear a vest.
No, the funny thing is that like he wears one of those like Adidas vests. Like it's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like this track vest that you can run in. And it's great.
Oh. Okay, well, like I said, I'll check this out after the program.
And the last dude is this a guy that I personally want to meet. I mean, I've already met him, but train under him is this guy named Trip Cassidy. This guy, you talk about stories, right? You talk about there being no story arcs in professional wrestling. And, Punk Pro is very special to my heart because, it's everything I love. And as far as my taste in music and everything that I love as far as wrestling, some silly stuff, some not so silly stuff, some good, really good wrestling, some indie shit because, fuck it. But really, Trip Cassidy started out as a, just this dude that was all along for the ride. He was a baby face. He had curly hair. And everybody liked him. He was a little overweight, but it was whatever. And this guy named Aaron Epic, former trainer, came along and fucked everything up because he was the first ever Punk Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion, Trip Cassidy. Blue-eyed demon. He had like this thing where he would cover his eye because it had like blue paint all over it. And it was cool. It was neat. Till Aaron Epic came along, and for a solid year and a half, just basically stalked Trip Cassidy wherever he went. Like this guy, like Epic would just beat the shit out of him after every booking. Yeah, and like they would wrestle, and just somehow Aaron Epic finds a way to screw over Trip Cassidy, whether it's losing another title match for a different company or just something, and he has nothing to do with the promotion, which is very cool. So basically, Aaron Epic is not wrestling on these promotions. He's literally following Trip Cassidy around to every booking that Trip Cassidy has, and somehow fucks it up. It's crazy, and like it's not even like after Epic beats up Trip Cassidy in this promotion he stays. No, he just keeps following him around, and it's not. It sounds more basic than it really was, but basically, these two had a vendetta against each other for a solid year, and it was very rare to see something like this. And recently, they had at Punk Pro Take the Sea Your Grave, they had a Carney match. Or well, they called it the Punk Pro Death Match, but it really wasn't a death match at all. But thankfully, the worst thing in the entire I guess the worst thing in the entire match was they poured Legos.
Yeah, I can see where this is going.
Somebody got pile drived on Legos. That was crazy.
Don't do that. You're safer with thumbtacks. You really are. I want everyone to know that.
And it was somebody got pile drived through a door. People went through doors, chairs, stuff, like great stuff, amazing stuff, right? And finally, Trip Cassidy could finally beat Aaron Epic and got his Punk Pro title back, because Epic was champion for almost a year after he beat the first time. So a long story in indie wrestling that was consistent, was good, and made sense. That's very rare.
Yes, which goes to show if people have lots of time on their hands, anything is possible.
Yeah, and yeah, it was good. It was great. I love the promotion. And Trip Cassidy is now. Oh yeah, I don't know if you know. Basically, his new gimmick now is that he's a carny. He's a clown. But he's not like the the ha ha ha, I'm Chuckles, ha ha. No, he's a scary clown. It's very weird. He's your favorite imaginary friend. That's his nickname, and he's part of this tag team / group called the Carnies.
Oh, great.
I mean, it kind of works because it like,
kind of works if it was in TNA in 2011, sure.
I mean, the Carnies are great. Like the tag team, the Carnies are great. You have Kerry Awful and you have the other dude, and they're basically literal wrestling carnies, like back in when wrestling was in the circus, and they spoke carny.
And I know that when I turn on the TV, boy, I want a fictional history lesson.
I mean, don't you know? Listen, there are too many podcasts about history, and like it makes me bash my head in sometimes. I love history, but who wants to just get up in the morning, drink a cup of coffee, and just, put on their favorite podcast about the fucking Crusades?
I don't know, makes them feel like their life is a little bit better. With that having been said, I think we're closing in on 100 minutes. We should say goodbye to the people, otherwise they won't want to come back.
Goodbye, and thank you for listening to our podcast where we continue to babble on about good, bad, and horrible wrestling. I'm Robert, and he's Yell. Thank you very much, and we'll be on the next episode of whatever we choose. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.